How's it going, guys, and welcome to DubHub. Today I will be talking about this secret loot spot, or like chest spawn, and this really cool place you can actually get into within the game of Fortnite Battle Royale. It's super cool, and it was hidden. I didn't even know about this spot for probably about like a whole day when I played it, and I found it accidentally because the wall had been like blown up, and then I like accidentally saw it. So it was just completely out of luck that I found it, and otherwise I would have had no clue that it even existed. It also does help that it's in kind of like a weird place that not too many people like to land, so as long as you can get there fast, you can definitely be able to loot it. So enough talking about like what it is, because I haven't even revealed like where it is and how to get into it, so I'll be talking about that right now. So this hidden loot spot is actually inside of Tilted Towers, and this could be a good or a bad thing depending on how you look at it, because tons of people go to Tilted Towers. So you can either run into a lot of people and die, or run into a lot of people and get all of their loot and make it out stacked. So you could see that either as a good or a bad thing. Now the good thing about this is that this spot is actually within the smallest tower, and I wouldn't even classify it as a tower. It's more of just kind of like a decently sized building, not even that big, doesn't even have that much loot, so not as many people are going to land there, so you are in a better position. But the one thing we know about Fortnite that has been consistent for the whole time the game has been out is that people love to go to a town and then loot their house and then go loot all the other houses, and just see if stuff is still there and if they can get any more loot. So this is going to be pretty much the key factor of what this spot can do for you, because not only is this a spot that can get you a lot of loot or just like extra loot, and it's just a cool place to go, but there's actually a strategy that I'm going to be talking about that goes along with it that can get you stacked before you have to leave. So you're going to want to land at this building right here. It's below all the other ones and it stands out decently, but not a lot of people are going to want to go there because it doesn't look like it has that much loot, which it does. And depending if you use this correctly with a strategy I'm going to tell you about, this could actually get you very stacked for the remainder of the game. So it's right in here, and basically you're just going to want to mine like this metal rack thing right here in the corner, and then, or you could just mine like the metal boxes, and basically you'll see like this hole in the floor, and you're going to want to go in, and there's a maximum of 2 chests there, which is pretty good. That's like what was around like the Christmas tree sometime, so people like to land there. And then there are also 2 ammo boxes, and ammo is such an important part of the game, because if you run out of ammo, you're done, and sometimes you're low on ammo and it just really holds you back, so that's always nice to have some extra ammo. But you'll usually have, or you'll always have at least 2 guns when you're going in here if you loot like the top part of the building too, and it's just like a really good way to get like set up in the game. But that's not all we're going to be talking about today, because that would be probably not even enough to talk about in one video. So instead we're going to be talking about how you can use this little hole in the ground to your advantage. So to complete that, I want you to be listening to what I'm saying while simultaneously watching the gameplay and seeing what I do, so that you guys can also use this. So you're going to want to land very quickly. It's actually very important that you land pretty fast, because the main thing you need is a gun. I know in Fortnite you always need to land first to get the gun, especially when you're landing around other people, because you need to get the gun and not them. Otherwise, if you're running around with a pickaxe, you are a sitting duck for them, and you want to be the one that's slaying sitting ducks. Alright, so with that note out of the way, I'll be getting into the strategy that is in this. So once you have your gun, you're just going to want to go straight for the like little spot in the corner, and the best way to get in is actually mining the wooden boxes instead of like the metal rack, because it makes the spot look more secret if somebody is to run in right behind you while you're still down there, so people won't like run in as easily. And B, you'll actually get like a decent amount of wood from this, and you're gonna need like 20 of any material resources to use right after. So you're going to want to make sure that you mine the boxes, and then you go underneath, obviously loot it if you want, and at that point you should be ready. So you'll obviously, if you have a chest or 2, you're going to have a weapon, at this point, and you're also, if you mine the wooden boxes, you're gonna have some materials. So you're going to want to mine the metal rack if you haven't. That's protecting the hole because that'll just get in your way. And then you're going to want to build 2 walls, like boxing yourself into the corner kind of. And then facing these walls, the left one you're going to want to make a door, and the right one you're going to want to make a window, and I'll explain why in a second. So this is really important because the door is going to be so that people think it's just like easy access or whatever. I don't know, you don't really have to do this, but it's just the way I do it, and it works. I've never like heard footsteps or seen somebody run in and they haven't ran into the corner. So if you didn't already know, this is going to be because you want to bait people to come in. So you're going to want to drop your like greatest item or whatever, even if it's like shield or something. If you have mini shields, just drop the spare mini shield, or even like ammo. You can drop ammo and resources and people will go for that. It's surprising. Just drop your best thing, whether it's an AR or if you get something like really good, drop your best thing, because if they come in and kill you, they'll get it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The only way you wouldn't want to drop it is maybe if it was like a shotgun or something that you're going to need to kill them, but you can kill them with pretty much any weapon as long as you do this correctly. Now, I never really talked about the window part of it, but this is only because you're going to want people to see the bait and basically tempt them to run in there, because I know if I saw 2 walls built in the corner of the most populated town on the map, I wouldn't really think much of it and I wouldn't really see a point of me running in there. But if they see the bait and they see something for them, you're going to tempt them. Now, a touch that I also kind of like to do is to mine the walls a little bit. I'm not sure if I did it in this gameplay, but just like damage the walls a little bit so that they're like partially blue, and this will kind of give it the effect that like maybe like a fight went down in here, and like this is just, the bait is just something that the other person like left there, and because if it's just like perfect walls, like it's not going to be like as convincing, and you just want to make sure that people are always running in there and that people aren't turning the other way. One thing to note is that if you get a damage trap, you're going to really want to put it on the ceiling. It helps so much because you get like 100 damage on them at least when they run in, so that works really well. Now this next thing arguably could make or break this entire strategy, because if somebody runs in through the door and goes to get the bait and then either runs back out before you can get a shot on them, or you just miss your shots, it's really going to hurt your game, either if you chase after them and die because they're just pre-aiming you, or if you just lose the gunfight to them. Like, you should never lose this gunfight. So one tip to kind of help it is, if you have like an AR or something, you're going to want to pre-aim like at the door, so that when you'll hear the footsteps, make sure you have your like headphones in or whatever, because you really need to be able to hear what's going on. So once you hear them or see them through the window, because make sure your head is below this little hole, because then they won't be able to see you, you're going to want to look at the door. This is why this door is on this side, and you're going to want to like pre-aim them so that when they run in, you'll get like an easy headshot or 2 on them, and then you'll be able to kill them instantly, versus kind of like popping out like after they take the bait and then possibly losing a fight. I don't know, that's just a tip that I find really helps, and you can definitely get the advantage on them when they run in. Okay, so I think I covered pretty much everything that I wanted to in this video. I just want to make sure that you either are aware of this strategy, or you could just use it to your advantage, because I don't find it like as bad as bush camping. It's a legitimate strategy to bait people and just see who will take it. And I forgot to mention just the key point, that if you have 1 or 2 people run into this like trap or whatever you want to call it per game, then you're going to be set, because Tilted Towers is stacked with loot. So people will run in there with spare shields and blue ARs or even better stuff, and this is really going to like set you up for the game, because majority of the time, if people don't come into like this building right away in the game, they'll come with like maybe like 30 people left if the bubble's still around you, and those are the people that have won Tilted Towers and are just looking for the rest of the loot. So that's when it's really going to pay off, and this will set you up pretty much every game, because people always run in here. I don't think there was a single game where I did this and somebody didn't run in to the trap. So this will just help so much throughout all of your games. Big shout out to anybody who watched the end of this video. You guys are the MVPs. I just want to make sure that I'm helping you guys as much as I can. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys later.